Hello and welcome to Geek Addicts, the pop culture podcast where we're trapped on a desert island, but it's okay because we brought video games. How's it going, Bill? My name is Matt. I already fucked it up. It's cool. What's up?
You know what the best part about that whole argument always is? Like we'll get to it like more in depth later in the conversation, but we always get that whole like thing. It's just there just happens to be like a power generator there just to power everything.
I just assumed that it's just like a single like emulator console and it's got like a solar panel that's just attached to it.
I've always just like thought about that. I'm like the logistics of this argument never make any sense, and it's like it kind of ruins it when you think too much about it.
Look, eventually, like I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, but eventually somebody will release a gaming handheld that has a solar panel on the back so it can charge just from sunlight.
Would you believe Nintendo already did that in like the 90s?
Yeah, well, obviously it didn't stick.
It was a random. Well, Nintendo didn't do it themselves. It was a third party company, but there was a third party solar adapter for the Game Boy, and it was the funniest looking thing ever.
How does that even work when
You
this
leave
was
it
the
out
day?
in this. You leave
But this was the days of fucking double A's.
Yes, but I mean it was an option. Basically, from what I remember, is you would leave it out in the sun, and then you would just plug it in to the Game Boy, and it would work. It
Huh.
was like, yeah,
Interesting.
fucking gaming was fun back then.
Yeah, they did all sorts of fun little experiments back then. I
Now
wish they
it's
would
like
do more of that now.
now it's like all the same.
Now that we actually have the technology to do all this shit, they're like, yeah, whatever. Who wants to experiment?
Well, now we have the technology, but the studios are like, all right, so we have this cool idea. That'll be $5,000, please. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Typical.
Yeah.
Typical.
But yeah. It's been 2026 has started.
Yep.
It's going
How's
great.
things? How's things with you, Bill? How was the first work week of the new year?
I slept like shit off every day. I almost was late my on Friday. Not great.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel you. I
getting
feel you.
through it, but yeah, it's been that time. I got my taxes coming up, so hopefully I'll get a good payback this year.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah,
We're very much looking forward to it.
pay off some bills.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, pretty much.
yeah. Other than that, though, it's been okay. I've really stuck to my whole like holding off on anime lately. Um,
Yeah, I caught up on the One Punch Man episodes, but that's about it. That's all I've done.
I so everything was like off the last few weeks, so like I still haven't like the new Spy Family finally came out. I haven't watched it yet. I'll probably watch that later today.
I still have not watched any of those episodes. I still the last time I saw was the like the situation was diffused with the bus arc, and that's where I left off. I still haven't
You
watched any
you
of
still
them.
haven't seen the greatest York crash out in the series so far.
No, I have not. But it's okay. I mean, I'm not in a huge rush. I mean, like I said, we've been watching it as a family, so unless we're all on board, it's just gonna sit for a while. But I'm really not worried about it. Um,
I did watch the new episode of Vigilantes season 2.
oh, is that out already? I didn't realize.
Yeah, it dropped earlier this week. It's the same thing.
Fair.
His
Fair.
powers are starting to evolve, so that's a plot point.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it this week coming up.
I think the big
I haven't. Oh god.
I was gonna say I think the big notable thing in this episode was Fat Gum appears for a scene,
Oh, cool.
and we get more Izawa and just the teachers doing stuff. So
Yeah. I still haven't checked to see if Gachiaka has come out. Because Gachiaka still has two more episodes to come out for dub, but they haven't been released yet. So
that
still waiting
last
on
week,
that.
pretty much everything took a break for the holidays.
Yeah. And then JJK released this week, but only in sub.
Yeah,
So we gotta wait. I think Trigun Stargazer started as well. I think.
Hmm.
But that is also just in sub right now. So it's just we're just in the waiting game now, waiting for all the dubs to come out.
I did watch. Oh, not watch. I read the most recent Soul leveling volume.
Oh yeah,
14 came out.
I gotta request that from the library.
Yeah, it's like the start of like there's side stories that take place after the big reset.
Mhm.
It's fascinating. Um,
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking like it might just be more worth it just to wait until they're all out, and then maybe I'll just try to borrow them all at once from the library and just binge read the whole thing. Because
I
I feel
know.
like every time a new volume comes out, I'll pick it up and be like, I totally forgot where I left off. I
Yeah. Um, yeah, because
feel like it's one of those very like, if you don't binge it, you're gonna be lost when you pick it up again.
I don't think 15's out for a while at this point.
Yeah, I might just wait until they're all there. Um, but speaking of reading, I finally made it out to Newbury Comics to use that gift card you gave me,
Nice.
and I was very happy to see that they were doing the buy one get one half off for like books and comics and such. So I ended up getting a couple of those compact comics. I got Static Season 1 and Batman Hush.
Okay.
Um, and what's the other thing? I got the first two light novels for Apothecary Diaries.
Oh, nice.
Yes, they had the first four, and I was debating if I wanted to just get all four, but I ended up splitting it between that and the comics because I don't know. I've been in the mood to read comics lately, and I want to start reading more American comics. And the fact that they released these just now is just really good timing for
Yeah.
me to want to check them out because they're doing like I think they're doing like full runs in each book.
Full
Um,
story arcs, anyways.
yeah, and that's always been kind of like one of the things that holds me off is like, well, I don't want to have to buy like a bunch of like floppies and stuff. Like, I want something that'll look like it belongs, on a shelf. Um, but also, I want to buy these on a semi regular basis because I want to support this idea and I want them to make more of them
Hmm.
because I don't want it to be one of those like great comic ideas that just get abandoned because nobody buys them.
No, the compacts have been doing very well from what I've seen. The other cool thing DC is doing is they're doing those DC Finest collections, which they're collecting like huge like selections of like old comic runs. Like they have like the first like handful of like Superman books. Like they did one
Hmm.
like an entire set. They did like the first Barry Allen Flash stuff. Like they've been doing a whole bunch of those recently, which have been really cool.
Well, that's the thing is like I like the idea of the big like huge collected volumes and stuff. Like I'd love to have those, but like A, they're just so expensive, and B, they're not like they're not easy to carry around with you.
So the Finest aren't bad. They're like $40, and they're like about that big. Like they're
Okay,
not.
that's not too bad.
They're soft cover too. They're not hard covers.
Gotcha. But no, I mean, I just like the idea of like a more streamlined, more affordable way to read American comics. Like I am super supportive of that. So I really want them to do well with those. They keep making them for all of them.
Yeah, the compacts are interesting. Some of the choices I've been a little interesting to me. We haven't got any Flash stuff, which I'm still kind of butthurt about, but that's fine.
Yeah,
Um,
especially since it seems like they kind of like it seems like they spread themselves out because they wanted to have like a little bit of everybody. Like there's exceptions like Batman and Superman, they'll have like three or four each for them, but it seems like they have like a book for like every other hero, and I find it really weird that Flash isn't one of them.
yeah, because Green Lantern has Far Sector, which is an
Mm.
interesting.
Yeah, there's
Um,
Wonder Woman. There's I know there's a few other ones too.
Wonder
I can't.
Woman is so funny to me because the Wonder Woman compacts are like I think both non. They're either like non-canon Elseworld stories or they're from the New 52, which has been just retconned out of existence at this point.
I'm sure it has its fans.
Um, Possibly. I know the Superman ones are kind of interesting too. Like they've done like Birthright, which is an origin story that may or may not be canon anymore, and then they did All Star Superman, which is 100% standalone, which is fine.
Yeah,
Like All Star is a great
yeah.
book. Um, Hush is an interesting one though. You're probably gonna be confused, and that's fine because everyone's confused reading that book. Um,
Well, I mean, I literally just kind of like because I wanted to get a Batman one, and they only had like three options there. It was I don't even remember what they were. I know one of them
They
was
had
like
Court of the
one of them was
Owls.
one
Court of
of
the
yeah,
Owls
Court of
is
the
good.
Owls. There was the Arkham one, and then there was Hush.
Arkham's also
they
good.
had. But I just kind of like
Hush.
flipped through Hush real quick, and I just saw that like each like issue, so to speak, in it had like it revolved around like a different villain. So I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool little catch bag. So I just ended up going with that.
Well,
So.
you also have the benefit that Hush was entirely drawn by Jim Lee, so
Mhm.
so
So I mean, it was just kind of like oh, let's test the waters and see how this is, you know.
Hush is a good
Um,
story. It's one of those stories that falls apart when you actually go beyond it, but as a standalone, it's fine.
yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading all those. Also, I noticed that because I was curious, so I looked at the back like little summary on the fourth Apothecary Diaries book that they had there,
Hmm.
and apparently the fourth book gets you all the way to like mid-season 2 because the description was talking about Mamo's dad going to the palace to help with Gyokyo's pregnancy.
Oh,
So book 4 gets all the way to like mid-season 2. Possibly further because I know they only like bullet point like 1 or 2 points of what happens in that book. So, and there's at least 9 or 10 out right now
oh.
for physicals. So it looks like the books have gone pretty far well beyond what the show has. So definitely want to read those and get into them, get a little sneak peek about what's coming.
Yeah. No, we got a bunch there. That's going to be a highly anticipated one.
It is good to know that there's plenty of material to work with, so we'll probably be getting a good number of seasons.
Hmm.
Assuming they don't decide to just say screw it and we're done. Like
As long as they don't take too long with season 3, I don't think the hype's going to die because that show is extremely well received.
well, season 3 is already slotted for October this year, so
Plus a movie.
plus yeah, they're gonna get the first half of season 3 in October, the movie in December, and then like I think in January, February, we're getting the second half of season 3. So
Yeah.
we're gonna be getting a lot of Apothecary over like a course of like 6 months. So
Did you see? I saw a thing. I guess like Slime season 4 is supposedly going to be like 60 something episodes.
that's crazy.
I saw that. I was like, Jesus Christ. I guess they're just finishing it in one go.
I guess so.
Plus, we're getting another movie pretty soon.
Mhm. Yeah, that's crazy. Um. So gaming wise, I have been playing more games. I have still been playing the early days collection. Um, Still working on that one game in particular, and I finally hit like a difficulty spike, so I gotta try and rework some decks and try to figure it out because I think I was doing really well. Like I wasn't really having much trouble. Like there was a couple points where like like oh I lost that one. I'll try again. Um, but once you hit like Joey and Pegasus is when the difficulty spike really starts to show itself, and it's like all right, I can't leave my deck as is. I gotta actually mess around a little bit. Um, but that's been going well. Like originally, I was going to like when the year started and like things started getting back to normal. I was going to start Persona 5,
Hmm.
but since I've been doing the Yu-Gi-Oh thing, I decided to put that off a little bit. And I've been doing a replay of Chrono Trigger, but I'm playing the DS version this time.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, it's been going very well. I'm only like 7.5 hours in or so, but I left off right when Frog cut the mountain in half.
He does that, yes.
So when we're going to like storm Magus's base, so
Nice.
that's going well. I don't know. It's one of those things where like I just don't understand why Chrono Trigger hasn't gotten more. You know what I mean? Because the game is just so good.
I don't know.
It
Probably
just
because
doesn't make any sense.
Chrono Cross didn't do as well. Maybe.
That doesn't affect Chrono Trigger. Like they're separate entities, pretty much. Like
Well, you'll
like you
find
can
out in the
still
DS
do
version. They
you can
kind of
still
tie them together a little.
well yeah that's fine and all, but like well I even just as simple as like maybe put Chrono Trigger on more consoles. Just something simple like that, or like I'm surprised there isn't like a Chrono Trigger manga or an anime or even a movie or not. There's nothing. There's literally just it was released on Super Nintendo and then on PlayStation and then on DS. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
also you got that like 7-minute OVA of like a bunch of monsters partying, and that was about it.
yeah. See, the problem is Square has its own problems right now, and they just don't have time to focus on anything else.
Yeah, right now maybe this game came out 30 years ago.
Square's had problems
They
for a
had
while.
time. Well, it didn't stop them from making Final Fantasy animes and Dragon Quest mangas.
True.
It's like they've been making like like supplementary shit for all these other franchises.
Well, I think the problem also is too a lot of the core staff that worked on Chrono Trigger are big Dragon Quest people, and they can't stop the Dragon Quest train at all. So
Yeah, but they can pull on a B team to say, "Hey, do something with this," like, or like, "Hey, port this," or I don't know, like, hit up Toei and be like, "Hey, we want a Chrono Trigger anime. Get to work."
yeah,
You know, I mean, Toei did a great job with the little cutscene animations. It was like that prime like GT animation.
yeah.
They even used some of the sound effects.
See, the thing here is like we bring up this question of why don't they, and most fans have been saying this for years, and basically the response we've gotten is, yeah, and just moved
Because
on.
fuck you, that's why.
Because Square doesn't. Square is trying to figure out why everyone's mad about Final Fantasy all the time. And the problem, like, there's this whole thing with like people where they're the heads of like the Final Fantasy teams are like, people just don't like turn-based RPGs anymore. Meanwhile, everyone in the gaming industry is just like, that's bullshit, sir. You're living in a bubble.
Yeah.
Square releases turn-based RPGs that aren't Final Fantasy that sell be above what Final Fantasy is selling right now. Like,
And also like I mean, I think there definitely is some truth that the younger generation isn't really interested in turn-based. That may change as they get older.
yeah, but they're not playing
But I
Final
also feel
Fantasy.
like, yeah,
Like that's
well,
this argument I hate
most of
is
them
that
are. But
I mean there's probably one or two, but those are the rare one or two that like turn-based RPGs.
that's the thing is that it's one of those things where they're going to have to discover it on their own. But meanwhile, there is already a very well established fan base of turn-based RPGs from people of our age and older. So
Well, yeah,
there's
but
no
also
excuse.
also they make that argument and then like you look over and like Dragon Quest 11 is one of the best-selling games of all time recently. Persona 5, it's like
Yeah,
fucking Expedition 33. Like let's that
it
guy
won
needs
like every fucking game category this
yeah,
past year.
like using this whole argument that like turn-based is outdated. I'm just like get off your high horse, buddy.
Yeah,
Like
for
Like
sure.
I liked Final Fantasy 16. And even I'm like, dude, shut up sometimes.
Yeah, I need to get around to playing some more of the Final Fantasies. I'll get there eventually.
Well, just remember, there's nothing final about Final Fantasy.
No, it's the never-ending fantasy.
Yes.
I was playing Scott Pilgrim yesterday.
It's always a fun game.
Yeah, well, I went to play a little bit of it with Cindy the other day, and like she had picked a character I hadn't messed with at all, and I picked
Oh.
a character that I was only halfway through. So I had to do some finagling. I did like the cheats and stuff. Well, essentially now I'm at a point where all the characters have their stats maxed out,
That's the best way to
and
play that game.
and they all have max lives in stock. So the next time we go to play it, we should be good to go. Like not all of them have like are all the way leveled up, but that's just combos, and you'll get that as you play through it. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah. No, there's like the best way to play that game is just max everything and be like done with it. Because you're like at that point then it's just fun.
Yeah, agreed. Um, but yeah, and we've been messing around on a couple other games too. Nothing too crazy. She did play a little bit of Hades, and she was enjoying it. But yeah, aside from that, just kind of rolling through it. So I also originally intended to start watching Arrow this week because I was going to start going through the CW verse.
Uh-huh.
Arrow's not on Netflix anymore
Or HBO Max.
or anywhere. It's nowhere
anything.
because you Google it to say, what streaming services is on? It says, well, you can purchase it on Prime Video for $230. And I said, no, thank you. which is
Yep.
really ironic because I think we had this conversation last week. I'm pretty sure you can buy the DVD sets of Arrow on Amazon for like $70. So what the fuck is Prime Video doing selling it for $230 digitally, which they could just take away at any time?
Because it's the convenience that is there.
Is it? Is it?
Well, you gotta understand the majority of this planet is extremely lazy and will just do anything to avoid putting effort into anything. So,
Well, I will put an effort to not pay them for it. So I went to the library because the library has almost the whole series. And it's possible the ones that are missing are just taken out right now. But
it's possible.
so yeah, I went to the library yesterday and I grabbed the first 4 seasons.
That's good.
So once I get that situated, I'll start on my CW because all the other ones are still there, like Flash, Legends, Supergirl, and then over on HBO has Superman and Lois and Batwoman. Like they have all of them, just not Arrow, where it all begins. The basis for all of it just isn't there.
Yeah.
So it's just stupid. So I was like, so at the beginning of the week, I was like, all right, well, I can't watch Arrow. I guess I'll finally get around to watching Gotham. Joke's on me. That wasn't there either. That was also taken off.
Why would it be? I mean,
yeah. So I was like, all right, fuck. Well, what do I do now? I guess I'll start watching that live action Titans. I don't know if you've watched any of that.
I did when it came out, and I don't remember anything about it. So
I'm not crazy about it. I'm not crazy about a lot of the decisions they made. They butchered those characters. And like I understand they wanted to make it like darker and grittier and shit, but like you also like completely changed all the characters and they're like,
well, not so much. You got to remember the Teen Titans show that actually cut out half the Titans. Like it actually, the Titans show is probably more accurate, to be perfectly honest.
with their personalities.
The Teen Titans anime is not accurate at all to the comics. Like we love it for what it is, but it is very much its own thing.
Okay, well, was Dick stabbing people in the dick in the comics?
No, that's a choice that show made.
And was fucking Raven basically just Rogue from the first X-Men movie?
I'm not saying that show's accurate either. I'm just saying the Teen Titans show is not a great basis.
I'm just saying the only character that even somewhat resembled the character that I'm familiar with is Beast Boy, and even that was kind of a stretch.
See, I'm just
and don't even get me started on what they did to Cyborg. That was just obscene.
Well, to be fair, DC didn't know what the fuck to do with Cyborg at that point either. So
yeah, well, I don't know. I'm just saying I wasn't a huge fan. I finished the first story arc, and I will end up finishing the series eventually. But I finished the first story arc, and I was like, I need a palate cleanser, so I started watching Batman the Animated Series.
Well, I mean, that's always good. See, my problem with that Titan show is like that is like the one of like maybe like the one time they've actually acknowledged that Donna Troy exists, and I'm like, for the love of God, she's been there since the beginning. Why does DC hate this character so much?
Yeah,
Donna Troy has been through hell in a handbasket in her entire existence. Like they can't decide what her origin is. They constantly just retcon her out of existence or back into existence. They're like, oh yeah, she was just a murderer. And like, oh, never mind. No, she's this. Oh wait, no, never mind. She never existed. And I'm just like, could you guys stop, please?
Oh, and also, my buddy Matt was giving me a bunch of shit because I haven't watched the new Superman or the new Batman.
Oh, not Man of Steel, the Superman, the new one.
Yeah, and the Batman.
Those are both good movies.
So maybe on our next cycle through, maybe we should watch those.
I mean, I'm down to watch Superman again. I gotta watch Batman again. I've only seen it the one time.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to this week.
Nice. Yeah, I forgot about that damn Titan show.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting much from it in the first place, but like, and there was just so many like little things throughout, like certain choices they made about the structure of the show that I just didn't like. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's not like I don't like darker stuff. Like obviously, like I'm a Berserk fan. I really liked the interpretation of the Arrow in that show, which is also very dark. But like, God damn. We don't have to go that crazy, guys. Relax.
I'm actually not super surprised by the direction, considering that was 2018, and God, DC was in a bad place 2018. So
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
I think that's right around when Dick was going through his Rick phase too. There was an entire story arc in comics where Nightwing gets shot in the head and gets amnesia,
Hmm.
and he's running around as Rick Grayson, a taxi driver. Yeah, this was deliberate. They were trying to character assassinate Dick Grayson because the president, well, not president, the publisher of DC at the time has like an extreme, or he got fired, thank God, but he had an extreme hatred for Nightwing and Wally West, and he would go out of his way to assassinate those characters at any chance he got. But thank God, Nightwing fans are so patient, and we just sat through it, and we're like, it'll be over. Give it time. We'll get through this.
Did he ever say why he hates them, or is this
Because
just
he's in one of those old heads that only likes the Silver Age and hates all the legacy that came after it. Um,
okay?
Basically everything that is like against what DC is.
So he expected Dick Grayson to run around in a circus costume all the way into like his 40s.
Probably. No, he just wanted Robin dead. To be perfectly honest, get rid of that.
Well, good luck with that because there's like fucking 17 of them. Every time one moves away, another one takes his place.
Well, I mean, that's why the glory of the New 52, which was also partially his idea, and how it failed from the get go because he's like, we're starting from scratch. Oh, but the Batman team doesn't want to restart. Okay, well, we won't worry about that. Okay, well, we can at least start back after. Oh, like Damien's in the first issue of Batman number. Shit. Okay. um, and then the Green
Yeah.
Lantern books, those just didn't change at all. They just kept doing business as usual.
Jesus.
You know, a reboot's great when they do only reboot what they feel like rebooting.
Yeah, that's God. That's crazy.
I could rant about DC for days.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. But I think we'll leave it there for now because I'm sure there'll be plenty more DC conversations as the year goes on because I'm planning on submerging myself in DC stuff this year because I did that with Marvel a couple years ago, so now it's DC's turn.
See, the best part about going through the Arrowverse is you can tell it totally started during the New 52, and then at one point it goes beyond the New 52 and the tonal shift. Oh boy.
Hmm. Well, I think the first four seasons will be a good start though, because I mean that'll
Well,
by the time
that's when the show was
close,
good.
yeah. Well, by the time I get through season 4 of Arrow, I'll also be in Flash and maybe Legends will have started by then. I don't remember when exactly that happens in the timeline.
Because I know Arrow takes like a nosedive in quality by like season 6. So
I think that was around the time I fell off.
because I know 5, like there was already a drop by 5, and then 6, it's like holy shit.
Well, it was hard for them because part of the whole structure of Arrow was in every episode for the first 5 seasons was we'd be getting the main plot, which is whatever's happening in the present, and then we'd also be getting flashbacks to 5 years previous, which will start with him like on the island, and by the end of season 5, we'll get to the point where he leaves the island, like officially, quote unquote.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. But like once you get into season 6 and beyond, it's like, well, what the fuck do we do with this structure? Because we've already told the stuff that happens after he got off the island. It's like, well, I guess we'll just fucking add more shit. Fuck it. Like, and we're just
And then
gonna
it
keep doing the
becomes-
flashback structure.
And then it becomes the Ollie and Felicity show for a couple seasons because they didn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, it was an interesting. They made some
You know what the
interesting
best-
choices there.
You know what the best it was when they tried to bring Felicity into the comics and all the fans were like, no. Like, no. Like,
I don't think she's a bad character. I don't
yeah,
know.
but you gotta understand hardcore like Oliver Quinn fans, like it's always him and Black Canary. Like you can't mess with that.
Yeah, but she died, so.
Well, in that show, but that show exists in its own fucking universe.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
See, people liked that show when it was its own thing. When they started trying to bring what the show did into the comics, that's when people had problems.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, if you want to do some creative, like unique stuff for like a separate entity using the same character, that's fine. But like, yeah, we can't be mixing them together. That's too much.
Yeah. Well, because it's so funny. Because if you're going through like the animated universe, you're eventually going to get to like Justice League Unlimited, and you're gonna like because Ollie's in like the first fucking episode of that show, and it's such a different character.
Yeah, yeah. See, those are the two big things I want to do. Like, yeah, I want to watch a bunch of the movies, but I definitely want to run through the CW verse and the animated universe
Hmm.
again. Like, actually watch them both from the beginning to end, which I've never actually done fully before. So,
Yeah, yeah, and the animated universe is kind of hard. It depends on where you want to watch Batman Beyond.
yeah, yeah, because like I've looked up a couple lists and like they have it in weird places sometimes. Like, sometimes they have it all the way at the end, like after stuff from like 2018,
So,
and
it,
sometimes they'll have it in like order it came out.
order it came out is fine. The problem is, so canonically, it's like you watch Batman the animated series, um, the second season, the third season. Then you can watch Superman. Then you watch the fourth season because the fourth season when they revamped it into the new Batman Adventures.
Hmm.
Then you watch Justice League, and then you watch Justice League Unlimited. Static is kind of its own thing; like it exists in its own space. It's
But
canonic.
it does cross over, and it is part of the universe.
It crosses over, but Static only really flashes over for the one episode of Unlimited where they go back in time,
Hmm.
and he appears in like when they end up in the future at one point.
Yeah.
Same with Beyond, because Beyond technically you can watch through you can watch the whole thing without watching Beyond and not be confused until you get to like that epilogue episode, which is just like the finale for Beyond in the middle of Unlimited.
Hmm.
And I think Terry also appears in that flashback episode or the time travel episode as well.
Yeah, yeah, because there's an episode of Static Shock where he goes into the future and there's like a crossover with Batman Beyond, and then he
Yeah.
also finds his future self, who's a total
Yeah.
badass.
Who appears in that one episode of Unlimited.
Hmm.
It's
I don't
plus
know.
you have to
I'm-
watch. Technically, there's the movies too, which are canon. Like there's Mask of the Phantasm.
Which, from what I saw, you're supposed to watch right after season 1 of Batman
Yes.
the Animated Series.
And then you watch Sub-Zero after season 2 or maybe 3, and then the Mystery of the Batwoman. That one's kind of pointless, but you can watch it if you want.
I'm just gonna do it all,
And then Return of the Joker, you obviously watch after.
Yeah,
finish.
that's like the epilogue to Batman
Well,
Beyond.
Well, it's confusing. You watch that after you watch Batman Beyond, but before you watch the epilogue episode because it's kind of in the middle there.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. I'll figure it out as I go along.
Yeah, because I know most of the setup for Superman for Justice League it happens during Superman the Animated Series
Mm-hmm.
because that's like where like Flash first appears with Green Lantern, even though they immediately decided we're not going to use that Green Lantern at all. I think the only one who doesn't really get an early introduction is Wonder Woman.
Hmm.
Oh, and Martian Manhunter, because the entire first episode of Justice League is how he gets to Earth.
I always forget about him.
So does
I did
DC.
think it was an interesting choice that they decided to throw him. Like, he was the first like big like Justice League character to pop into Supergirl. He was like, oh, here, look, we got the Martian Manhunter. It's like, cool.
Oh yeah, I think I completely forgot to. Hawk Girl, she just shows up. She's just there.
Oh yeah. Well, anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, though, we do have a new segment we should probably start.
Yes. Indeed. Do
Like
you have
my
music for this one, or are we gonna figure it out as we go?
You like my title?
Your Meshi and Friends Power Hour. I like it.
We'll do that. We could do music. We're gonna pick something that hasn't been done.
We should just play Smile Bomb in the background the whole time. Put it on loop.
If only. No, we did that for
Just that bass line.
most of these are annoying.
That one's kind of ethereal. That works.
Yeah, we'll do lo-fi. That works.
So yeah, we're finally starting in with the Yu Hakusho live action series. So this
Sure
is your
are.
first time watching it, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
I last year was just anime heaven, and I was kind of like, I didn't watch anything else. So
Yeah, yeah. Um, so right off the bat, like the first scene we get, like as you can expect, the first scene we get is like him dead on the ground, and he's just a ghost.
yeah, we'll talk about his death scene later because holy shit.
Yeah, they went pretty hard on it. That's
so
actually part of my notes.
I was gonna say right off the bat, watching this, it feels very much like you're watching Yu Yu Hakusho on speedrun.
Oh, for sure. So how did you feel about the actor choice for Yusuke?
Actor's perfectly fine for the most part. We'll get to our favorite pompadour friend later, but
Yeah, I think the actor, I don't know his name. He did a very, very good job of emulating his mannerisms. Like,
yeah, the
right
actual
down, like how he walks, like when he hunkers down next to his body. Like it's all very, very Yusuke.
the acting choices I thought were great. Like they really worked for what they were trying to do. Dub, I'm not gonna lie, not the best work. The acting themselves.
I think it was definitely the biggest drop ball was not getting the funny cast for it, because I would have loved that. Would have fixed the whole thing, as if we just had all those scenes with Kubar just be like, "Man, you're a Messi."
modern percent, like younger voice.
Yeah,
yeah, because it was weird not hearing Justin Cook.
Yeah, for sure.
I got used to it though. The actual voices weren't bad. The lip sync though, oh, they not the best. Like I'm like, there were points where I'm like, this is like one of those old Jackie Chan movies.
That's kind of to be expected, though. I mean, I feel like it's a lot easier to get away with it with anime, but once you start doing it with live action, it's always going to be a little funky, you know.
The thing is, I'm gonna compare it to like obviously like what I still think is the peak is the Rurouni Kenshin films, and they did a really good job in those.
But even then, there were definitely some moments where it was, you know, with the lip syncing and stuff. I mean, you're never going to be able to lip sync it perfectly with live action. It's just not the way mouths work.
There were a few moments in this though where they were talking and nothing was coming out. I'm like, yep,
yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
happens. I did like the vibe it was going, because they were really going for. So one thing. Yeah, compared to because the anime is fucking bright. Like it is a bright, colorful anime.
Yeah, it's very colorful, but at the same time, like yeah, the anime is dark, but it's like 90s shonen dark.
The palette was very bright in that show.
Yeah.
This though, they went no, this is gritty Japan. Like we're going for this,
and it feels like
it worked. Honestly,
yeah, for sure. And I could be mistaken, but I feel like this is set in the 90s. I feel like I didn't see any cell phones or anything.
The cars definitely looked 90s.
So I do like that they decided to like, we're definitely going to make this like in the right time period that the show would have been. They didn't like move the time up more modern like a lot of them tend to do.
One thing too I kind of liked was so one big problem anime has is the fact that they don't portray like characters realistically a lot of the times. Like any like slice of life, like they go to the high school and none of the fucking girls look like they would actually look in Japan.
Yeah.
Yu Yu Hakusho, I give credit because they actually kind of looked realistic for the most part, and it transferred very well into live action.
Yeah, for sure. I do also like that they aged him up a little bit. He's not 14 in this; he's 17.
Him being 14 just didn't work in the original story very well.
No, especially when you think that like. With the exception of like the time skips in like the demon world, like the entire show takes place over like 8 months.
Yeah, because by the end he's like, they're adults, and I'm just like, okay. I was just like, all right.
Yeah, there was like the 3-year time skip on like the last episode, and then it was like, okay, we're all 17 now. We're all getting ready to go look into colleges and shit.
Well, yeah, because like the big, it's funny because most of the characters they all look mostly the same. The biggest shift was probably Keiko.
Yeah.
I guess Yusuke, but he was in the demon world the whole time, so
yeah, for sure. But yeah, and they one thing I wasn't crazy about, and it's a small thing, it's a nitpick if anything, but I didn't like that they made the uniform for all the kids green, because that was part of his whole thing was that he was wearing green. They're all supposed to wear blue, and that was supposed to be like his like you know, I'm still wearing a uniform, but I'm gonna do the color I'm not supposed to do because that's just who I am. Like,
But then you got like Kuwabara shows up, he's still in blue. I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
Well, I feel like they didn't establish whether or not he's actually supposed to be going to the same school, because I don't think we ever see him in the school in this.
True.
So I guess it's one of those things we'll see later on.
It also does kind of clash though with like the girls' uniforms, which are all blue, and I'm just like, it was something I got over really fast, but I was like, it's kind of a little bit of a miss there.
Yeah. But as far as like the structure for the story so far, because we pretty much just like this one episode is covering his whole like coming back to life arc or whatever. But with them kind of like combining all the different story arcs of the show together for this little 5-episode series, obviously they had to have the portal to the demon world be like a big part of it, and having it be just like a sinkhole that just happens to be in their city. And they don't really, I don't think they specifically say how long it's been there, but I feel like it's assumed it's been there for a bit. And I don't know if it was just like naturally there was just already like a small portal at the bottom, or if Sakio is creating it. I feel like they weren't totally clear on that. But I like the idea of the insects being a huge driving point of the plot.
Yeah, if you're not a fan of bugs,
no, there's definitely some body horror in this show.
Yeah, there sure is.
Especially with the bugs. The bugs are pretty ick at points. Because we actually learn as we go through. We're gonna be skipping around a little bit as we talk about this. But as we go through, we learn that the guy who hit him with the truck was actually being controlled by one of those bugs.
Yeah. Can we talk about that truck scene real quick?
Oh, sure.
Fucking, you
Please,
see the damn truck bounce off of his body as it's running him over. And I'm just like,
oh, yeah.
And when we see him after, I'm like, there's no way he'd be that intact. Like, he'd be
Oh,
fucking.
no, he'd be messed up. Well, even as bad as it was still like a pretty graphic scene. Like, if, like I would not, like, as much as I think he would like the story of it, I would not show this show to my father-in-law, because he was hit by a car when he was 19, and so it was a pretty fucking graphic scene of this kid getting hit by a car.
The anime, not as bad. This though, like, holy shit, like, you see the truck bounce.
Oh yeah, like, and he fucking gets dragged right under that bitch, and he's messed up, like, and like, yeah, realistically he would be more messed up in real life, but like they really didn't hold back on like, no, he's dead. That dude is dead. Like,
yeah.
And
the scene with the kid at the funeral is like, well, just let him know when he gets better. And I'm just like,
yeah, like, well, when he wakes up, can we talk to him? Yeah.
I don't know why
it happened so quick too. It happened like so quick. Like, I feel like a lot of times in anime and even just regular movies and TV, the whole like pushing someone out of the way of like a incoming vehicle or whatever, it's always done like really like weird and dramatically. Here it happened so fucking fast. Like there was no time to think or consider. He just moved, shoved, bam, he's hit. Like, it did a really good job portraying that scene.
And then we got, well, actually, we didn't really talk about Kuwabara.
No, well, like I said, we're gonna be bouncing around a little bit.
Yeah.
Because well, first of all, before we move away from the truck scene, love the fact that they had Smile Bomb on the radio in the truck.
Yeah.
That's a great touch. And it was also playing in Keiko's restaurant as well, which I thought was a great touch. I'm really glad they put that nod in. But I mean, even just like talking about like some of the, we should probably hit on some of the school scenes too before he gets hit by the car or the truck. Because, well, first of all, they decided to go manga accurate because he's smoking cigarettes on the roof instead of like eating chiclets, sort of the fuck they gave him in the anime.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, he's coming down from the roof and he sees this kid getting bullied by a bunch of kids, and they're like, you know, they're taking his money from his wallet and shit. And we have like I feel like we had a very similar scene in the anime, but here it's like, I don't know, it like feels more real here. And it's not just because it's real people, it's just the way it's acted. Like, you know, like he comes in on the scene and he fucking, you know, knocks the kid back and takes the money from him. And the teacher comes out of nowhere and like, obviously, oh, Yusuke shaking people down for money.
Yeah, the
And
classic, teachers fucking suck at their jobs, like the usual.
yeah. And then, like, without explaining himself, he just gives the money to the kid who's being bullied, and then just fucking like shoulder checks the teacher on the way out.
Yeah.
And like at this point, like he's pissed off, which like anybody would be. And like, I love like the scene as he's walking through the alley to go home, and he's like, he takes out a cigarette and he's trying to light it, but the lighter won't fucking work, and eventually he just loses patience and throws it on the ground. Like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yep. I will say the scene where he's in Keiko's restaurant there, and like the other girls are like, "We gotta go." I'm just like, really? I get the whole Japanese culture thing, but I was like, just having a meal. Like, I don't think he's gonna do.
Yeah,
that.
he's just eating.
Like, what was he doing?
It's like that scene in the anime where it's just like, oh, we're scared of Urameshi. We heard that if he whistles, 100 bad guys with guns will show up and everyone will just get murdered.
like okay.
It's like, that's not how life works. Like, even if he was a piece of shit, like, that's just not how life works.
It just amazes me how in anime certain things you just let go, but then in a live action version, I'm just like, wait a minute. Like, that doesn't make sense.
And I like that they didn't linger too long on the whole, like, process of him coming back. They're just like, no, we're just going to revive you.
Yeah, like, yeah, because in the anime, I am a little bummed we didn't get Yusuke possessing Kuwabara to like talk to Keiko.
Yeah. Or the yaoi dream kiss.
I can understand why they didn't do that in live action.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy, because one of my biggest gripes with the anime is I feel like that entire arc is drawn out a little too much.
Yeah. Especially too when you were watching it on like Toonami back in the day, because like yeah, with Toonami and just like the structure of it, because all these shows were done like long before we got them, so they were all already there. So we were technically getting an episode a day, Monday through Friday. So like, but even then, like as a kid, it's like you gotta wait a whole fucking week for him to come back to life. Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like he's still burning in the house.
Yeah,
well, still burning in the house.
Oh yeah.
Keiko gonna do something? Maybe.
Nope. Okay.
She lost her hair. Oh well.
So like so Botan, right? First of all, I think it's a great choice. She definitely looked the part. They didn't do the stupid one blue stripe thing they did to Bulma in the Dragon Ball movie.
Yeah, that was just
yeah. One thing I'm disappointed about is she didn't say bingo, not once.
Yeah. Well, was that a dub thing? I'm assuming, or was that a?
I mean, probably. I don't think the like term like saying bingo as in like you're right is like a thing in Japan.
Probably.
So that had to be a dubism. But I mean they're dubbing the movie, so like, you know, instead of just saying that's right, you could just say bingo. She wasn't even on the screen, so it wasn't even like a lip syncing thing.
Yeah. See, I was like, when I saw Botan appear, I did get a chuckle that she just kind of walks in off screen. I'm like, oh hi, how you doing?
Well, yeah, because she just kind of like walks through rifts that she just creates at any given time, which is kind of cool. Also, I don't want this to come off weird or wrong. You know how when you're a kid and you're watching these animes and you're like, why does that character not have their eyes open? Like Brock. Seeing this actress is like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that apparently that's just a thing.
What's funny is like I thought the actress they picked was really good. The voice
She looks very cat-like.
Yeah. The voice kind of threw me off though, just because I'm so used to Cynthia Cran's voice for Botan.
Well, that was kind of a thing with a lot of the characters in this.
She sounded too young. Like that's what kind of threw me off a little bit, because like Cynthia Cran's does a really good, like, not to be mean, but like middle-aged woman voice.
Well, I mean, she was doing like Chi-Chi at the same time that she
Yeah.
was doing Botan, so it's understandable.
Well, her Chi-Chi voice was very on par with her Botan voice. Now her Chi-Chi voice sounds like she's aged like 80 years, but
to be fair, I mean, Botan is like a timeless, ageless, entity, so it would make sense that she would.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. I mean, we're lucky we didn't get fucking baby Koenma.
Yeah, I was wondering how they were gonna do that when he just showed up as an adult. I'm like, oh, okay, they're not gonna bother with that nonsense.
No, they just go in the Dark Tournament look the whole way through.
I was like, that's fine. I was like, that's fine.
Yeah. So we go through the whole like they go into like the spirit realm or whatever. How did you feel about the special effects for the spirit world?
They were fine, like nothing distracting.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job of capturing like the ethereal nature of it. Because we saw a lot more of it than we did in the anime.
Yeah,
even though it was just background.
There wasn't a point where I cringed and went, "Ew, that looks bad." Like it was more just kind of like, oh, that's fine.
And also, I really like the idea. Well, first of all, them like going through like the little rift and then just being in a boat on the river Styx was kind of a cool touch. And I liked all like the floating lanterns and stuff. That's like a big thing in Japanese culture.
Yeah.
But I also really like the idea of like instead of just sitting at a desk with like a rubber stamp doing paperwork, he's like Koenma's going through these scrolls and they're like playing people's lives like a movie as you go further down it, and that's kind of how he determines like heaven or hell. Like that was a cool touch. I like that.
Yeah.
I also like his reaction when Yusuke says like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't want to come back." He's just like, "What?"
Yeah. They got the characters' mannerisms and like personalities very right throughout this.
Yeah. Koenma's kind of a interesting oddity though, because a lot of like the stuff around his character was based around the fact that he's a baby in the anime. So
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of didn't really know how to handle him as well here.
We basically just have like he's already got his character development in now. Now we're just he just exists in this.
Yeah, for sure. So like he goes back and like he's at his wake because he's just like, you know, checking out like how people actually feel about it all. His mom, Atsuko, the actress, did a very good job of capturing the whole like catatonic, I'm grief stricken kind of thing.
Yeah.
Also the choice of having Keiko be there when he got hit by the truck was definitely interesting.
Yeah, that was different. Having her get in the ambulance with him. I was
right after she told him to go die.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's fun. It did make that later scene more emotional, I will say, but I was just like, okay.
Yeah. I did. Oh yeah, so we should probably talk a little bit about Kuwabara now.
They were never going to be able to pull his character off in live action.
No, I mean, personality-wise, they could definitely. I think they did a good job.
Oh, the acting is fine. It's just they're never going to get there. No one looks like that. Like.
Well, first of all, like his hair isn't orange; it's just bleached, which I mean makes sense because that is kind of like the stereotypical "I'm a punk kid in Japan" look.
He doesn't have his pompadour. Like that's the thing that threw me off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way his hair is, I mean, it kind of looks like a pompadour depending on the scene. And I did like the touch that when he's first introduced, he's already like beaten and bruised from the last fight they had. I did like that detail. And also Yusuke's random fucking drop kick. He did like a fucking ninja drop kick on him.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that when he's having like his big fight later on with the demon possessed kid, once he was all bloodied up and shit, I was like, oh, there's the orange hair because it fucking mixed, all the blood mixed in with the bleached hair.
The problem was it was going to be really hard to get like someone with that like body type without it looking like an adult just hanging out with a bunch of kids.
Yeah, because I mean it's a weird thing where Kuwabara is like really tall compared to everybody else.
He's really tall and he's like built like
yeah.
It's just one of those things.
It would have been difficult to make that work.
Yeah, we'd end up with that Hank Hill thing where they just replace it with Hank Hill. It's like just doesn't work.
Well, it's a similar thing with like Sanosuke and Kenjin because he's also supposed to be very tall and very built.
That one somehow they made it work better. I think it's because they got his look much better, like overall, aside from the stature.
Yeah. But overall, I think the choice for Kuwabara was good, and his scene at the wake really worked for me. I don't think it was as emotional as in the anime because the anime scene still fucking hits me to this day, even all the way back to when I first saw it on Toonami, all the way to today. That scene at the wake still gets me. And it wasn't as emotional in this, but I really liked the character, like showing off the character of Kuwabara, fucking decking that one bully kid.
Yeah.
like before he gets dragged away by all his friends. Like that was a really good touch. I like that, and it definitely spoke to Kuwabara's character as a whole.
So the one other thing too, before we get into that final fight that I noticed was like
it lasted like 20 fucking minutes.
Yeah, basically the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
I noticed they kind of changed up his resurrection to a degree as well.
Yeah, they made it a lot more kind of effortless.
Yeah, because we didn't have Keiko almost dying. Instead,
I mean, she did almost die.
Yeah, I forget in the anime? Did he just come in and help, or did
in the anime he had to throw the spirit egg into the fire,
right?
That created a path.
In this one, instead, he just goes, I've stopped it.
Yeah, he used spirit energy to hold up the collapsing building, and then he just kind of was like in his body, and then he ran out with her.
Yeah, I was kind of like, sure, whatever, fine. It makes more sense.
So yeah, he saves her, and then he's like, I have to go. Kuwabara needs me. But I like the whole scene. Well, first of all, these bully kids need to seriously pick a new target because they're going after the same kid way too much.
Well,
and also it's made very clear that he doesn't have a whole lot of money, because while everybody's wearing uniforms, it's pretty obvious from looking at his shoes that he's not from a wealthy family.
Yeah.
Because that's about the only thing you could really latch onto when it comes to Japanese school children. It's like, what condition are their shoes in? Okay, you're not from a good family.
It's kind of crazy too, and you watch stuff like this where it's based in Japan, and you realize Japan, they don't fuck around and soften bullies. They just make them what they are.
Yeah.
Because when I think of shit like this, I usually immediately go to Bulk and Skull.
Yeah.
Which I'm yeah, no, this gets dark really fast.
Yeah, because they are beating the piss out of this kid, for no reason, literally just because he didn't want to give them the money that he was going to offer to Yusuke's body for standing up for him and helping him out and stuff. Which it is nice to see at least one person recognizing that Yusuke is not a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though he's a punk, but he's not a piece of shit. So they're just really fucking laying into him. And then the fucking insect comes in and crawls into his ear. It's the earwig from hell. And fucking you could see it crawling under his skin. And that is really disturbing image.
I don't like that very much. I'm ew, it's okay.
And then it goes full horror movie. Because he's doing the Japanese horror, I'm possessed and murdering everybody and doing the creepy ghost crawls and shit.
You hear bones break and his face gets fucking deformed by the end of that fight. And there's scenes where it's Yusuke's I'm gonna save you, buddy. I'm like he's dead, man. They ain't coming back from this.
Yeah, well, I mean, luckily he was able to get him to come to enough for his hand to morph back into a hand.
Yeah. It's just
that was, I don't understand how that works, but essentially it was well, we got to knock it out of him before it fully takes over, or he'll be forever changed. But basically before the change really happens, Kuwabara's group comes in, and then he's just fighting them, even though they helped him earlier that day. So Kuwabara and his group of friends are all fighting this dude at once, and he is just fucking mowing them down like nothing.
Yeah.
And he's fucking setting them on fire and shit. It's getting crazy. And eventually Kuwabara is just fucking beaten down. Everybody else is down. And then right as the kid's about to fucking bash his head open, Yusuke comes on, and he's having the whole fight with him. I definitely feel they put too much time into this fight.
Yeah, it didn't need to go this long, because there were so many points where they could have ended it, and it was psych, nope. We're gonna stretch this out.
Definitely stretched out much further than it needed to be.
Also, the runtime for this episode was longer than the rest of them, I noticed. So I was kind of
yeah,
they did not need to stretch this out this much.
No, they didn't.
Especially for how underwhelming the finisher was.
Yeah, he didn't even use the spirit gun.
I don't know, spirit gun. Like instead, he just like Falcon punches his face, and it.
Yeah, well, he used like the spirit energy punch, and then the fucking thing just kind of pops out.
Yeah, then he fucking.
And it's like fucking 20 times bigger than it was when it went in. It's like,
yeah, which leads me to believe it was eating shit in there. Like he ain't coming back from this.
Well, I assume it was feeding off of his spirit energy.
I guess. I'm like, there's no way. Like in reality,
that's how a lot of those things tend to be. But yeah, no, like that thing. Ugh. It was pretty gross. But especially when it started like deform him, because like at one point his like face gets deformed because it's like in his brain, and like his arm morphs into like a bone sword. It was bizarre.
It was a choice.
But yeah, so basically like the whole thing goes, and then like Koenma's talking to him. He's like, you have to use your spirit energy to knock it out of him. He's like, what the fuck even is that? And he's like trying to explain like the science behind it, and Botan's just like, no, you used it earlier, just do that. Like,
yeah, always the logic and reasoning person.
Yeah. I did like how like when he was trying to like get through to him, though, he used a bicycle to like kind of pin his sword arm down, just so he could actually like get a word in edgewise without having to fucking beat the shit out of him. Also, that kid's gonna be hurting for a while
if he's alive. Like, I'm still not convinced.
Yeah, well, you know,
we didn't see the aftermath, so that's why I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. But eventually he knocks the thing out of him, and it's like, yeah, we did it. And then Koenma's talking to Botan, and he's like, yeah, so they're going after those like demon artifacts now. So because it's led to, it's kind of like just kind of in the background, but we have seen like little bits with Sakio and like him talking about his plans and shit. And it's assumed that like Sakio is sending people after those demon tools, but then like Hiei, Kurama, and Goki all show up, and they just kind of like murk all of his minions and steal the things. I don't know how I felt about them like pulsating, like the sword and the ball and everything. It's weird that they like pulsed like they were alive.
Yeah,
that was definitely a choice. How do you feel about the designs for our little demon triad?
They're a choice. I'm gonna wait till we get further in to have a full thing, but I was like, okay.
They definitely because in the anime they talk about how Kurama looks very feminine, but like I never really got that impression from the anime. Here he just looks like he could be either way. Like,
yeah, I was kind of like,
they definitely focus on the femininity of Kurama here.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna wait till the next episode to have a full opinion, but I was like, okay.
But I think Hiei was a very fitting design.
Hiei was. My problem with Hiei is though it's I'm never gonna get over it not being Chuck Huber's voice.
The voices is something we're just gonna have to move past with this show because it just is what it is. I'm disappointed they didn't go with the funny voices as well, but it is what it is. I would have really liked Damian Clark though as fucking Toguro. That would have been amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the first episode, and boy, is it gonna be it's gonna be a shorter series because it's only 5 episodes. But
yeah, we only got four more segments, and then that'll be done.
Yeah.
And I will say it is a little disappointing. Like I understand them wanting to go the safe route, and I personally think they did a good job with what they had. They definitely could have made it a longer series. It definitely could have been longer.
Yeah.
Like it didn't have to be like One Piece, but you know, a couple seasons. Or at least one like 10 episode series.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to risk it, especially with the trend, how it had been at that point. So
yeah, well that's what I'm saying. Like I understand them wanting to take the safer route, but there's definitely more potential there. And as you'll see, like there are definitely points where they probably should have spent more time on certain things.
Yeah.
But we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. Definitely. But yeah, that was a segment. All right. All right, so moving on now to our topic for this episode. Matt, this was your idea. Do you want to explain the what we're doing here?
Yeah, so it's a spin on the whole, like, you're trapped on a desert island. What's the so and so amount of games you would bring with you? But I thought it would be fun to kind of do a twist on that and say, well, we'll do that, but you get one game per console. So we're gonna be doing like a kind of like a mini series of these episodes where we'll pick. I'm assuming about 5 consoles each time, and just pick one game from each that we would keep.
Yeah, like if it's basically the desert island thing. You magically have a way to play these games, but you only get to pick one per system.
Yes.
So when we were picking systems, I kind of was going with I kind of wanted to just kind of limit it to common systems, but I didn't want to do something dumb like Jaguar game or like
Yeah.
So I went with kind of a period of time, and I kind of stuck to the most well-known systems from the late 90s, early 2000s, like early to mid 2000s. So we went with the PS1, the N64, the PS2, the GameCube, and the Xbox 360 for this one. Kind of like the most like common, probably well-known systems from that era.
Yeah.
Something that like I didn't want it to be too challenging the first time around.
Right. And this is definitely, I mean, this is kind of like my bread and butter era too. Although I will say N64 and GameCube was a little bit more difficult because while I did play them growing up, I didn't own them until later. And most of the games I'm familiar with those systems are like party games. And I'm assuming if we're doing a desert island thing, it's probably like assumed that we're alone on said island. So
True.
Party games aren't exactly the best route to go.
I don't know, man. Playing against those CPUs in Mario Party, like.
Well, I honestly considered that for that one, but we'll get there when we get there.
Because those CPUs could be a real bastard.
So where do you want to start?
I'd say let's do it chronologically.
Okay.
So I guess start with PS1, N64, PS2, GameCube, 360.
Okay. Sounds good.
So do you want to go first or should I?
I'll go first. So we're starting with PS1.
Yes.
So I struggled with this one because I didn't know what kind of game I feel like would work best. But ultimately, I think I ended up going with Spyro 3.
That's an interesting choice.
I mean, Spyro is one of those ones that I can always come back to. It's a comfort game for me. It was easily the game I played most on PS1 back in the day.
Fair enough.
And weirdly enough, for Spyro and Crash, I played the first and the third games, but I didn't really touch the second for either. I have
that is
messed
weird.
I have messed with them. It just kind of happened that way. I don't know why, but but I personally loved Spyro 3. And I was really debating whether I want to do 1 or 3, but I ended up going with 3 just because there was like more to it, And those are games that can kind of last a while. They're very very relaxed games, easy to get into. Yeah, it's just a comfort game for me, and I think that would just be perfect for me personally. As much as I would have liked to choose I mean, there's a myriad of RPGs on PS1 that I could have gone for. But I, in later episodes covering other consoles and handhelds and such, I have RPGs slated for those. So
I mean, I tried very hard to make mine not all RPGs. That's all I'm gonna.
RPGs are the easy choice when it comes to this kind of scenario, but
yeah.
But I mean, as a solid platformer like Spyro is always a good option.
So, I took a bit of a different route with mine because I was looking for something. PS1, I tried very hard to not pick an RPG because there's so many RPGs on PS1 I could have chose. I wanted to go for something more limitless in a sense, like a true like endless game, and for that I chose Gran Turismo 2.
Okay. Yeah, I was really playing around with the idea of racing games, I was trying to figure out which ones would be the best ones, but I mean that's a solid option.
Well, I mean, I was thinking about. I'm like, because I could have picked. There's my dumb collecting thing right now is I love collecting the most obscure PS1 racers I can find. So
Mhm.
there are many, but I was thinking like, what was one that would actually be worthwhile and like would last a while? And Gran Turismo, that is a series that you can just play pretty much endlessly because it is
Mhm.
technically, so you could make the argument it's an RPG if you want to like be very technical about it.
Yeah.
But just it's like one of the earliest like driving simulators. Like how they got those graphics out of the PS1, I'm still to this day like holy shit.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just super interesting. Like you just spend like hours building money to buy better cars, to tune those cars up, to win races, so you can buy new cars, and like
Mhm.
they are racing sim games like that are interesting because it's like they are for a very specific group of people and they're not guaranteed to appeal to everybody, but like if they hit that spot like in your brain and like you can just get like all that like serotonin going basically
Yeah. Yeah.
legit endless fun.
Mhm. Solid.
But I will make the note saying because I chose Gran Turismo 2 here, I'm just putting my own little rules in. I will not be picking another Gran Turismo game for the other systems.
Yeah, I'm trying to limit myself in that way as well because there are definitely certain franchises that I could go a little bit crazy with. I think we all know which one in particular, especially
Yes.
with some of the systems that we have on this particular docket.
Yes.
But I have some from that franchise later in later consoles that we'll be covering and
Yeah.
handhelds. So
Yeah.
I'll save that for then. Um, so we're doing N64 next.
N64. This one I'm curious because the N64 is a console that I have grown to appreciate more over the years, but didn't grow up with it, so I missed a lot of it. Um,
See, I grew up with it, but I didn't own one as a kid because like all my friends had them. I had a PS2. That was my console.
so yeah, I was a PS1 kid, so like I was the one PS1 kid surrounded by N64 owners, and I
Yep.
missed that entire generation.
Yep. I didn't get my first N64 until I was an adult, so that should tell you
Yeah,
what you need to know. So, needless to say, the vast majority of N64 games that I'm familiar with are party games, um, which made this a more difficult choice. But I think ultimately Mario 64 is just the best choice.
that is a good game. Good
Um,
choice.
because it's just the easiest one to just pick up and play. It has lots of different kinds of levels to go through. And while the DS version does add more, I have other things in mind for DS, so I'll save that for then. But
Also the DS version doesn't control very well. So
yeah, I mean, I guess it's a matter of preference. Because I didn't really play the N64 version much. The DS
oh no,
one is the one I'm really familiar
I
with.
played more of the DS version than the N64. But when you go to the
I've,
N64
yeah,
version after, you're like, oh,
yeah. I've dabbled with the N64 version, but I never like fully done a playthrough of it. And I was even debating whether or not I wanted to go with like Ocarina of Time, even though I'd never played it.
I
But
mean, I find Ocarina of Time incredibly boring, so it'd just be automatically not a pick for me.
fair. That was like something I was playing around with, is doing something like that, or choosing like say Mario Kart 64 or Mario Party or something like something that's just like a dumb little. I can just jump in and do a couple little things and jump out. But I
Hmm.
don't know. Mario 64 is just a timeless game.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's up there. Um, so this is the one where I caved and went with an RPG. I decided Paper Mario would probably be my go-to
Okay.
N64 game. It's a long game. It's got a fun combat system. The story is incredibly quirky and fun to follow. The art style is amazing for the time, and it's super unique. I love that soundtrack. I love everything about Paper Mario.
Hmm.
Um, maybe not my favorite in that series, but it's a very fun game. The best RPG in N64. Not that that's hard. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, unless you really like Ogre Battle.
Fair.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with Paper Mario.
All right. So PS2. This
This one's hard
this
because
is the
there's
most difficult decision for me because I played many PS2 games throughout my life.
Mhm.
Like I said, PS2 was my console as a child, and I
Same.
played it pretty consistently throughout like 15 years.
Another system loaded with RPGs that are always potential choices as well.
Yes. Um, but I think at the end of the day, and this is one of those things where we could do this exact episode 30 times and I could have a different answer each time
Oh
for
yeah,
these two easily. Um, but I think Spider-Man 2.
yeah. I mean, that's a pretty open game. Like that can last a long period of time.
Yeah, especially if you just want to like mess around. It's just like, oh, I'm just gonna go and fucking catch this kid's fucking balloon that he
Hey
just
man,
can't
my
hang on
balloon.
to. My
Spider-Man.
balloon.
Oh
Or you could just go and just fight fucking dudes in mech suits, or fucking you could say, okay, I'm actually gonna do some story stuff and go fight Mysterio, or like there's all sorts of fun shit to do. And honestly, I was playing around with the idea of doing the Spider-Man game for PS1, but that's such a quick game.
yeah, that game is
That being
literally.
said, though, like in order to unlock everything, you have to beat the story mode multiple times. So I mean, it has to have
True,
replayability to
but
it.
as much as I love that game, you can only play that game so many times in a row before it gets old really fast.
That's fair. But Spider-Man 2, I mean, you could be on the same run for a long period of time. And you could even just go through bits where you're just fucking around or
Oh
trying
yeah,
out different combos or whatever. Like Spider-Man 2, I I mean, that was the basis for every Spider-Man game that's come since.
for the most part, yeah. I mean, the I know the some of them went for more streamlined, non-open world setups,
Yeah.
but for the
But I
most
mean,
part, yeah.
what's more fun than just fucking swinging through New York City, you know?
True. I always thought the balloon thing was over blown, and then I played it recently. I'm like, nope, that fucking happens every 3 seconds. I swear to
Oh yeah.
God.
My balloon.
After a while, I just was like, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah. I gave up on that balloon a long, long time ago.
Stop, let go, tie it around
Yeah.
your wrist. Do
Oh yeah.
anything.
For real. But yeah, Spider-Man
Uh,
2.
all right, so this one was very difficult. Um, no, I did not pick Persona 4 because let's face it,
We're
that's for
saving
another.
that for Vita.
I mean, that's an obvious answer for later. Then, like, let's be real
Or
here.
really any modern console because it's on everything now, so you could really take your pick.
Yeah, but I played on Vita mostly.
Yeah.
Then going back to vanilla Persona 4 isn't that fun anymore,
Mm,
especially after playing Golden. So it's
yeah.
not Persona 4. I was very tempted to pick another RPG, but this one I actually went with one of my childhood favorites in Ape Escape 3,
Oh.
a platformer that is very full of content and just a joy to play. Like, cause it's one of those classic games that actually tried to use like dual analog, like uniquely. So like the analog stick doesn't control the camera. Instead, you use it to like swing the net around and capture monkeys.
Hmm.
It's a very unique game. Like that, the setup of that game only could work for that game because like you jump with like R2 or R1,
Okay.
control the camera with the D-pad. Like it
That
is
is
a weird.
okay.
It makes sense when you play it, but like at first you're like, this is odd.
Yeah, I never played that game before, but I've heard you and Alex talk about it a bunch of times.
The setup for it is very similar to Mario 64, but rather than collecting stars, you collect monkeys. And unlike
Okay.
unlike Mario 64, they fight back. So you actually have to like use like strategy to catch these things, and they have different variations. Like there's just straight up like monkeys with like fucking like machine guns that just shoot you.
Hmm.
There's ones with boxing gloves that just beat the shit out of you when you try to catch them. It's really fun shit.
That's
It's a
silly as
very
hell.
it's a very Japanese game, extremely quirky, but my god, I love it, especially the
Hmm.
third one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Ape Escape 3, that would be my PS2 choice.
Alrighty. Oh, we're moving right along with this. Maybe we should have done more.
Yeah, maybe for next time we'll think about that.
Yeah. So for GameCube, um, this is another one where I kind of like played a little bit of. I actually did own one as a kid for a brief period. But I only had like 4 games for it, so it was kind of like, whatever. And I didn't play a lot of the ones that most people tend to think when they think GameCube. But I think ultimately, because I would have to have one in this franchise. It's somewhere in the list. I think this is just the best place to have it. I would go Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah.
Because like we had the whole talk about like party games stuff like that. But I mean, Smash Brothers is such a good one where you could go in and this was the point where they started opening up and having more characters available.
Before I let you finish, I'm just gonna say it now. I also picked Melee, so let's
Oh,
just
did you
continue this. In terms of, I'll just add in terms of like a long-term game playability, Melee. So assuming you're starting with like a bare save file on everything, the amount of content to unlock in Melee, that game alone could probably last you the entire period of time you're on this island, theoretically.
Yeah, and honestly, like as much as like yeah, I picked this one in particular, and the funny thing is, this is probably maybe the one I've spent the second least time with. Like I think the only other one that I'd say I've probably spent less time with is probably the current Smash Brothers.
Oh, Ultimate, yeah.
Um, because there was like a period of maybe like a year when I played Melee as a kid, and then it just kind of went away, and I haven't played it since.
Melee was the game that I would play whenever I'd visit a friend with a GameCube, and it was just literally like a thing where we basically like, all right, so we're playing Melee, and I'm like, okay, because that's just
Yeah,
like what people did.
because I mean I have a special attachment to the original, but I feel like Melee was just the better choice. It has more available. There's more stuff to do.
See, the original is a game that like I have zero nostalgia for, so I've never really got the hype for that one. Um,
Well, that was one of the games that like sparked my interest in gaming in the first place. Was the original Smash Brothers.
See, I didn't get to own a Smash until Brawl, like, but I played
Mm-hmm.
enough of Melee at people's houses. Um, yeah, because really
But
realistic. Oh, go
oh,
ahead. I was just gonna say, realistically, with Melee, like just the amount collecting all those damn trophies, that alone could take
yeah,
years.
yeah. Um, and there's just a lot of like different aspects to it too. Like yeah, you could go and do the story mode or whatever, but you could also just jump in and just do a quick match, and you could do a timed match. You could do a stock match. You could do like, oh, we're gonna just do like all these crazy items, or we could just do like a straight up like one on one. And it's totally fine if you're by yourself because you jack those bitches up to 9 and you're gonna be getting rocked.
Yeah, now
So
there is like nearly unlimited content in that game.
yeah. And now I'm thinking about it, and I may or may not have shot myself in the foot with this because if I'm not picking Brawl, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna pick for Wii, but we'll get there when we get there.
The Wii amusingly has more options than the GameCube, I'd say, but we'll get to that when we ever eventually talk about the Wii some point in the future.
I'm sure we will at some point. It'll probably be one of the later ones. Um,
You know, I always remember a famous quote from back in the day where someone was talking about like if they were basically saying like talking about GameCube, and they basically made the quote like, "If you don't have Melee, then you don't have a GameCube."
that
Like basically like
was
because
one of the few games I had for my GameCube. Yes.
it's pretty much the universal game most people have for the GameCube. That was the first GameCube game I owned.
Yeah, for sure.
Paid more
Um,
for it than the GameCube.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, I mean,
Although
it's
thinking about it
Melee.
though, I'm realizing now I could have said Animal Crossing too, but I think I'd
Yeah, but
save Animal.
there's plenty of other Animal Crossings that you could do that with. Also, sidebar, are we? Obviously, I didn't have any for this one in particular, but for like future episodes, are we? How are we going to handle like game collect? Like, for instance, if Xbox One comes up in a later episode, would I be able to choose the Master Chief Collection, or is that a no go?
If it's a game, I think it's anything's a go.
Because that's like technically like 6 Halo games in one.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a game, it's free reign as far as I'm concerned.
If it comes on one disc, it works.
Well, one disc.
Well, you know what I mean.
The rest of
There
that
are
is
multiple
probably
game discs.
the rest of it's probably a down. Well, I was gonna say it's on a disc, and then 80% of the game's a download. But
You know what I mean.
we don't
Like,
worry about that. Um,
um, But yeah, so the final one, the Xbox 360.
This one was harder than I thought it would be because I
Yeah,
did not grow up with a 360, so I have like no nostalgia for this series.
I did have one, and I've pretty much had one like ever since it came out. Um, I think everybody knows which one I'm going to choose, but it wasn't as easy as you may think because I played a lot of different games on 360, and there were a lot that I was really playing with choosing. Like, part of me really wanted to pick like Call of Duty Black Ops because Nazi zombies is just fucking. You could just play that forever. And then like there's lots of other games I played too, like obviously Dragon Ball games, Raging Blast 2, the first Universe, um, which I wouldn't pick the first Universe anyway, but that's a conversation for another day. Um, but no, there's tons of different options. But I mean, as I'm sure anybody could expect, Fable 2 is the one I'm going for. Because as much as like I've played the shit out of that game since it came out all the way back in 2008, there are still aspects of that game that I have not experienced. Like there's still points that like parts of the game that I just either wasn't interested in or just didn't feel like putting the time into or whatever. Like getting all the gargoyles. I've never actually gotten all the gargoyles. I've never really fucked with house decorating. There's a lot of different like parts of the game that I, for whatever reason, just never touched.
Yeah.
And if I'm on a desert island, you bet your ass I'm going to be fucking doing everything.
Yeah, I know, right?
But that's just such a timeless game for me, and it's just such an easy game to just sit back and just fucking throw on. I mean, I pretty much do a yearly playthrough of that game and have forever. So, yeah, Fable 2.
Nice. This one was very difficult for me because I was really trying to not just pick an RPG. But I kind of gave in where I was kind of like, it's got to be an RPG. And for me, it would be Lost Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Lost Odyssey is such a unique game that is just perpetually stuck on this system for the rest of time, it seems like. It's got such a unique concept. It's basically a lost Final Fantasy game in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Fun story, fun gameplay, just crazy setup, like especially like for a very early 360 game. Like you pull this thing, you open the disc, and there's 4 fucking discs there. Crazy shit on a 360.
On 360, wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's just like one of those cool games. Like the soundtrack is awesome. Nobuo Uematsu did it. Basically, it's the OG Final Fantasy guys, and they made this awesome little RPG that not a lot of people played because it was on 360.
Yeah, it's interesting. I never really associate the 360 with RPGs like that. At least not those kinds of RPGs.
It had a ton very early on, and then once they realized the PS3 was going to be the Japanese console, they moved over to PS3. But the 360 had a fair amount early on, and it was surprising.
Interesting. Yeah, I think 360, and I usually think like, Bethesda games and stuff. Bethesda games, Halo, Call of Duty, obviously.
Oh yeah, no, like people forget like 360 had like Lost Odyssey. Obviously, they had Blue Dragon, Tales of Vesperia, Infinite Undiscovery, The Last Remnant, like a whole bunch of these like exclusive RPGs. The Star Ocean 4 initially before it got ported over, Eternal Sonata before that also got ported, a whole bunch, and then the Fable games, of course.
Oh yeah.
When Mass Effect 1 was an exclusive for a while.
Yeah, Portal. It's not an RPG, but
the Orange Box. Well, that was on PS3 as well. Not a great port, but it was there.
Yeah, I mean, so was Call of Duty and everything. I mean, we already established that if it was on the system, it's up for grabs. So
true.
But spoilers. Call of Duty will probably be in there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I've only played a grand total of one of those, so
yeah.
You can hear my thoughts about it on another podcast.
So yeah, that went pretty quick.
Yeah, we'll probably have to
talk a little bit more about it, or maybe try to have a guest on for the next one.
Maybe, or
keep the conversation moving.
Do more than 5 systems.
Yeah, well, I was thinking. Well, first of all, we could like we're not limited to just video games for this conversation. We could do like TV shows, anime, movies.
True.
Like we could do all sorts of different things like that. And then I was thinking, we could have like one like specifically for handhelds and.
Well, handhelds is an entirely different conversation. That's why I wanted to hold off on those. But
there's definitely choices for the handhelds.
Yeah,
I have played many handhelds, so that one will work.
yes, it will. But yeah, I think that just about wraps it up for this one. Getting off to a good start on 2026, hopefully. Knock on wood. But yeah, so I guess next week we'll continue our coverage of Yu Yu Hakusho and we'll talk about our next topic. But
whatever that will be.
Yeah, I have a few ideas. But anyways, guys, once again, thank you for joining us on the Geek Addicts. I don't even know what podcast I'm on right now. You can find us on all the major podcasting platforms and check us out over on the Superpod Network, superpodnetwork.com. Awesome site. You can find a whole bunch of different shows, videos, blogs, all sorts of fun stuff like that. And yeah, until next time, guys, we will see you all later.
Have a good one.